Oregon City sits on the Willamette River, just south of Portland. This is where the Oregon Trail ended and the state's creation began. We're talking real history here.
It's the oldest incorporated community west of the Mississippi.
And in this town sits a historic home.
This is the oldest house in Oregon City and Clackamas County.
This is the Ermatinger House.
It is haunted.
Yikes. But let's back up a bit. This oldest house in the oldest town west of the Mississippi was built in 1843 for Francis Ermatinger, who worked for the huge Hudson's Bay Fur Company. Ermatinger had a couple of neighbors, Francis Pettygrove and Asa Lovejoy. These fellas had gone in 50-50 on some property north of Oregon City. They nicknamed the plot of undeveloped land Stumptown, but they knew they needed a better name than that.
Francis Pettygrove was from Maine, and he wanted to name the site Portland after the biggest city in his home state. Asa Lovejoy was from Boston, Massachusetts, and he wanted to call it Boston. So after much arguing and debating, Pettygrove decided, let's just settle this on a coin toss. So he took a penny out of his pocket, and he flipped it. He got heads. Lovejoy flipped it a second time, got tails. Pettygrove flipped it a third time, got heads again. And that's how Portland got its name.
Now, I'm a native Oregonian, and I do not remember learning this interesting factoid in school. Doesn't mean they didn't teach it. They probably did. I just wasn't paying attention. But I digress. It's better that Portland won the title. I mean, the Boston Trailblazers just would not have worked. Through the years, the Ermatinger House served as a boarding house for pioneers arriving at the end of the Oregon Trail. And for years after that, it was just a rental house. After a couple of renovations, the house appears just as it did when Francis Ermatinger called it home. Now, about the place being haunted. At one time in the 1800s, a steamboat captain lived here, and he threw a lot of parties.
There's been stories of him moving the chair in the dining room. So it's like he's still trying to throw parties here.
Swager says she personally has never heard the moving chair, but others swear they've heard it. You can check it out for yourself. They give tours of the Ermatinger House every Friday and Saturday. In the oldest incorporated town west of the Mississippi, Oregon City, this is Dave Jones for Destination Oregon.